Welcome back. This is week 2 of our video blog series. My name is Derek Thompson, founder of T&T Creative Group. Again, the purpose of this series is to bring hot topics to you in terms of business, security, business intelligence, analytics, anything that we can do as a company to help you. That's the purpose of this series. We have returning this week Mr. Devon Carter from CarTek Consulting. Thank you very much for joining us again.
No problem. Glad to be here.
All right. So last week we dove into many great website topics. This week we're going to dive into a few, but we're going to start off with SQL injections. I know that's one of the leading causes of compromised sites. Could you tell us, first of all, what is an SQL injection?
So I don't know who your viewership is, but I don't know whether a lot of people know is that your websites are typically made up of a couple of parts, right? You typically have the front end, which is where all the end users see, all the pretty pictures and everything like that. But that front end web server, that website, actually usually ties back into a database of some sort. And that database actually has all the actual information that goes up to the main website. So what happens is, with SQL being an actual type of database, a structured query language database, the way that works is people are able to inject executable commands through the front end of the website that will actually cause the back end database to then do something. Now that something could be add themselves as a user. It could be spit out all of the account information of everybody in your database. It could be delete all the information in your database. It could be numerous things. So that's what an SQL injection is.
So that's a great definition of what an SQL injection is. Can you tell us how companies out there can protect themselves from an SQL injection?
Definitely there. So the thing to remember when you start talking about injections and things like that, it's typically going to be something that is fixed at a code level. Right, it's not a lot of things you can do on like necessarily the front end of the website. You have to get to the code. And the reason you want to get to the code is because in order to really thwart SQL injection attacks, you want to limit the user input, the untrusted user input. So anywhere where you have a user that is able to maybe input their name, phone number, or maybe a message they want to send you on the Contact Us form, you want to try to limit that as much as possible, and also have checks in there so that it will either ignore executable commands or skip them or something. So that's typically done at the code level, and it's not too difficult for most developers, right? It's a pretty common thing.
So for the forms that are on many websites, because we talk about that all the time, because we want to have contact forms on various pages so you can generate leads. Do you recommend having maybe a form system that's separate from your site, like maybe a Wufoo or a JotForm, or having some other form system that's outside and not have that tied to your site? So if someone were to inject something, it doesn't necessarily go to your site, it goes somewhere else. Is that another?
That definitely will help. You got to think of it like this: if they try to execute something on that form, and that form is talking to a database where your information is not, maybe kept permanently or stored and things like that, then obviously it's not having as much impact on you and your website. So that could be a good thing.
Okay, so we talked about SQL injections. Another hot topic that I hear about, and something that we've taken an additional measure on our end, is to install SSL certificates on all of our sites going forward. What are your thoughts on SSL certificates? When is a company a good candidate for an SSL cert?
So let me start. I'll tell you what an SSL certificate is.
Okay.
It's basically a certificate or an encryption key, so to speak, that will encrypt the communication between the end user and your website. So encrypting meaning it changes it into unreadable text, so that even if someone is capturing or logging your communication, they can't decipher or determine exactly what's going on. Okay. So that's why you want to use SSL certificates.
Okay. Now, are there any other effects that you have to look out for as far as having an SSL on your site? Will they potentially slow your site down since there's the extra, encryption? Is there any I won't say negative effects perhaps on having an SSL cert?
It's possibly, but I'll be honest with you, it would probably be negligible. You would probably really not notice it. Now, I'll tell you the best time to probably use SSL will be anytime if you're accepting any type of credit card information, if you're accepting any type of HIPAA information, anything that's personally identifiable, personal health information, anything dealing with anything where there's user input that could be that could be stolen or that be deemed valuable. You want to use an SSL certificate of some sort.
So yes, SSL certs, again, is something that's growing in our line of business. I know we're offering those as a piece of our hosting package, and we feel good about that. Also, that is a search engine factor. So I know that Google ranks you higher if you have an SSL cert. So I know that's another reason why we've taken the step to do that.
And it's one thing I also want to mention for a lot of the viewers of this video. Anytime you go to a website and you're going to be typing in any type of personal information, do me a favor. Look up in the URL line. That's where you type in the www.website.com. To the left of it, you should see an indication of HTTPS, right? And you should make sure that there's not like a circle with an I in the middle of it, because that could be an indication that, yeah, they may have SSL, but it may not be functioning properly. Okay, so you want to ensure that you're using HTTPS on any site that you're inputting your personal information into.
That's a great point. Thanks for adding that. And also, in addition to web hosting, when is it a good time to host your own site? I know most people don't. We host sites for many, but what's that threshold to where you need to pull that in-house?
I'll be honest with you. I've I've owned a couple of businesses in my life. I have never even thought of hosting my own website. And just, I think about it like this. Well, first of all, what do you need to host your own website? Well, you need some type of dedicated internet connection that probably has some type of service level agreement, right? Because if you're hosting your own website, your customers have to have access to it on a regular basis. It can't be down. So you don't want it like your own home network where sometimes you can have issues. You have to worry about DNS. You have to worry about getting public IP addresses. Now you have to be concerned about, all right, now the target is at your locale, wherever you're doing business or wherever you actually have your servers. If a hacker were to go after you, now they're going to the actual location where you're at. So it raises your risk. It's something that you don't do. If that's not your business, then you pay the experts to do what it is they do. That's why I came to you for my website. That's not anything that I want to be involved with. Right, I do a lot of work to keep my own business running. I do not want to be focused on issues with hosting a website.
Exactly. Yeah, that's definitely one of the keys to business for all the entrepreneurs out there. Focus on what you do as a company, and work with others to do the rest. So we collaborated very well on that. I'm very happy with the way that your site came out.
As am I.
All right. Well, that concludes week 2. Thank you so much for coming back this week, Devon. Tell them a little bit about that assessment once again. There's many companies out there that are collecting private data that probably have some vulnerabilities. Tell them why they should go to your site today and sign up for that assessment.
Again, thank you for that segue. Basically, we want to be able to help you to be better secure. All right, we've seen statistics have shown there's a 71% increase in the attacks on small business websites. And the reason is because hackers don't feel that small businesses have the resources to properly protect themselves. So you're vulnerable, you're a target, and I think it would behoove you to reach out to CarTek Consulting, or at least someone that can come in and do an assessment, let you know where you're vulnerable, and help you to plug those holes. Okay, I think it's vital to your long-term your long-term viability as a company. There's statistics out there that show for small businesses, 6 in 10 small businesses, that's 60% of small businesses that are hacked, go out of business within 6 months.
Wow.
Okay,
Wow.
it can have a huge impact on whether you even survive. And as small business owners, I think it's hard enough just running your business in a perfect environment.
Right.
So you don't want to invite that. Our security assessments can really help you to know where you need to focus your attention, let you know what we can do to assist you in being more secure, protecting your business, and hopefully ensuring that you're around for a long time.
All right. Well, that concludes week 2. Thank you again for joining us this week. Be sure to tune in next week as we talk about the top ways that sites are becoming hacked and compromised. You don't want to miss that. So stay tuned as we bring more web security information to you. We'll see you next week.